We mentioned earlier that there's a big show on this weekend from WWE called WrestlePalooza, meant to be the very first PLE with WWE's new agreement with ESPN, right? And someone pointed in my direction this really interesting article from Awful Announcing. Yes, that's right. Probably words you don't hear very often. Interesting article and Awful Announcing all in one sentence, but here we are. But this was legitimately interesting. WrestlePalooza will be a disaster if ESPN doesn't strike multiple deals this week. We're gonna read this because I think it's. I think there's we talked about this when you know the state of the deals when ESPN and WWE announced the streaming service, right? And you'll recall that here on the stream or on the podcast, wherever you're listening, we had talked about how ESPN had set things up so that not all cable providers would be able to bundle the ESPN streaming app because ESPN, Disney, had not brokered deals with a lot of the major carriers, like Comcast, for instance, right? So I want to let's read this article together. Very interesting stuff here. In 5 days, ESPN and WWE will embark on the first step of a 5-year journey. On Saturday, ESPN will broadcast WrestlePalooza exclusively on its new direct-to-consumer app, right? The streaming app, just to make sure we're clear here. It's the first premium live event, PLE, under a new 5-year, $1.6 billion deal with WWE inked last month, and WWE is going all out. The event will feature Brock Lesnar's first match in 2 years as he takes on John Cena. Superstars like CM Punk, Seth Rollins, AJ Lee, and Becky Lynch are also headlining the card. WrestlePalooza will be of great interest to both WWE diehards and casual fans alike. The problem? Nearly 1 month after ESPN launched its brand new direct-to-consumer app, a large swath of would-be users are still on the outside looking in. In the lead-up to the app's launch, ESPN could not have been clearer with its marketing. All of ESPN, all in one place. A key pillar of that marketing campaign was the idea that no matter how or where you purchase ESPN, you'll be able to access all of the bells and whistles associated with the new app, including exclusive programming. But if you want to pay $30 per month to ESPN directly, great, you now have that option. I put an extra but in there. I apologize. Butts. I put butts everywhere. But if you're one of the more than 65 million pay TV subscribers that access ESPN through a traditional bundle, you'll be able to authenticate into the app too. So that's important here. As we mentioned, the avenue of access will face its real test on Saturday as millions of wrestling fans descend on the ESPN app for WrestlePalooza. But unfortunately for some, their pay TV bundles still don't have access to the premium tier of ESPN's app as was promised. Comcast and YouTube TV subscribers will be the largest group impacted. Comcast has approximately 12 million pay TV customers, while YouTube has over 9 million. That's more than 20 million consumers currently paying for ESPN through traditional pay TV bundles that will not have access to WrestlePalooza unless Disney is able to strike a distribution agreement with Comcast and Google in the next 5 days. Add Dish, Sling TV, and Cox to the mix, all of which are in the same boat as Comcast and YouTube TV, and that number climbs even higher. The only way for these paying customers to access WrestlePalooza on Saturday, assuming no new deals are truck is by subscribing to ESPN directly for an additional $30 per month. When you promise all of ESPN all in one place, but don't deliver that to tens of millions of subscribers that should be able to authenticate into the app, that's a problem. Come Saturday, there will be mass confusion. Unless you're following the ins and outs of the industry, like us here at Awful Announcing, it's not reasonable to expect people to know which distributors have access to the full version of ESPN's new app and which do not. How many Comcast subscribers will try to click into WrestlePalooza this weekend only to learn that they have to shell out an additional $30 to watch? Will ESPN do anything to better inform customers who will and who won't have access to these PLEs through their pay TV providers? So far, the network has been mum. Maybe that's because the deals are imminent. Maybe that's because it's not in ESPN's best interest to talk about it as negotiations are ongoing. Maybe that's because the network knows it can pick up some unknowing subscribers on Saturday who are desperate to watch WWE. We know Google has a distribution deal with Disney that expires next month. No doubt, similar to when ESPN would put important programming on ESPN2 or ESPNU to secure more lucrative carriage fees for those channels back in the day, they're treating the new ESPN app similarly. WrestlePalooza is the start, but soon enough, ESPN will be putting even more exclusive live programming on its app, forcing distributors into favorable terms to secure access. For now, it seems ESPN is willing to use WrestlePalooza as a sacrificial lamb to maximize its leverage. Comcast and YouTube TV subscribers will be unable to access their event via their current pay TV package. Those subscribers will rightfully get upset, but wrongfully direct blame at Comcast and YouTube TV, even though it was ESPN who misled them with their marketing. As usual, it's the fans getting hung out to dry in these negotiations. It's a tremendous article. And I didn't realize at this point that we still had gaping holes in ESPN striking deals with the cable companies that haven't embarked yet. I think that's rather significant. I agree with what this article is saying. This is going to be a bloodbath come Saturday. This is going to be a complete and utter bloodbath. You are going to see the Everything app full of people complaining that they can't get on, that they don't understand, that they had to pay $30. This is an inevitability at this point. A complete disaster. And I agree. You know, the failure that they have here, the failure that ESPN has here is that they went and announced the Everything ESPN all in one place, but they didn't even mention it in the press release that they didn't have that it was for select cable subscribers or whatever the fuck, right? Or select cable carriers, I should say. They didn't even mention that in the press release. It was found out when people started digging. If my memory serves me right, it's Brandon Thurston who made some calls and was able to get the information from his contacts where they said, ESPN is not going to be available everywhere across the board. And some of the cable broadcasters, distributors, some of the cable distributors who haven't signed are some of the biggest in the US still. It's going to be a complete and utter shit show. So again, like the article says, you can, even though you get ESPN in your cable bundle, you can still pay the $30 to get the app. But technically speaking, you should be getting the app with your bundle because that's what they're doing with the cable distributors. But there's some that haven't come to terms yet. So unless between now and Saturday, now being Monday, September 15th. Between now and Saturday, they need to figure this out. They really do need to. They need to figure this out, or they need to communicate. But look, responsibly, they should be communicating to their customers, to the consumer, saying, well, this is the reality of the situation, because you know what? Because that's honest. It's the right thing to do to protect the consumer, to be on the consumer side. But again, like the article posited, they don't care if a couple of people pay an extra $30 and get some more, subscriptions on the app. That's what they want. That's what they want. That's why they brought WWE on board. It's to get new subscribers and reduce churn. So if they're going to get more people who realize that, oh, I'm on, what was it like? I'm on Comcast. I can't subscribe. I can't get it for free, but I really want to watch WWE, so I'm going to pay the $30 nonetheless. And there you go. Congratulations, ESPN won. Disney won. That's exactly what they want. That's what they're hoping WWE is going to do. And I want to share something with you, because this is really fascinating to me. And I am that is going to be like, once All Out is done, that's going to be that's going to be the best spectator sport on the internet on Saturday. It's going to be fantastic. But check this out. As you know, I hang around, I have multiple group chats and whatnot. And I'm not going to say who this is from, but someone shared their directions that they received from DirecTV to get onto the ESPN app. Okay? This is what was communicated by DirecTV to people who have ESPN in their cable bundle and who want to authenticate the app and use ESPN for free, well, without shelling out an extra $30, okay? Look at this. Navigate to directv.com. Step 1. Step 2, sign in. Step 3, enter your DirecTV user ID and password. Well, click sign in, I should say. And you may receive a one-time code for your email to authenticate the login. Step 4, select TV package from the account overview page. Step 5, under the package name, click on the link to activate ESPN Unlimited. Step 6, you will be taken to the Activate Your ESPN Unlimited subscription page. Click the Activate Now button. Step 7, you will be directed to the ESPN activation flow on ESPN.com. So you have a bunch of shit to go through over there, and then click Agree and Activate. Step 8, you will be prompted to enter an email address and password. Step 9, visit the ESPN app to start streaming. Now listen, this group chat that I'm a part of, where we share stuff like this, these are people who are very savvy when it comes to, streaming and setting things up with tech and whatnot, okay? So they look at this, and even them, they're like, man, this sucks. Like, not that they won't be able to do it, but they look at it and like this is like jumping through hoops. So we can assume that most cable companies who have the agreement with the ESPN and will allow the cable subscribers, the ESPN cable subscribers, to log into DirecTV themselves, this is the kind of process that they're going to have to go through. And that is bonkers. Look at how complicated this is. And it's complicated for people that are kind of, we're kind of used to streaming now. This is just how it works. So imagine, like Joe Sixpack, who wants to watch the wrestling this weekend. He wants to watch the WWE, and he's got his ESPN thing, and he's going to go on his TV where he sees ESPN, and he's going to press play, and they're going to be like, nope, you can't. You got to get the ESPN app. What do you think Joe Sixpack's going to do? Is he going to find these instructions in his email? Is he going to go on the ESPN direct-to-consumer app FAQ to find the answer to his question and get all of these 9 steps here? And is he going to go through them, or is he just going to shell out $30 and he's going to get mad because he's going to miss? He sat down at 8 p.m. to start the show. I think it's starting at 8. Who cares? Whatever times it starts. Let's say 8. He's going to sit down at 8 p.m. and he's going to do what he usually does. But no, it's not going to work. And he's going to have to download an app. This is going to be a disaster because it's been poorly communicated and it's extremely convoluted to make it happen. If you do, it's been poorly communicated across the board, right? And people are going to realize only Saturday, as they're sitting down to watch the show, that their cable provider, their cable distributor doesn't have the ESPN deal, right? So they're going to be mad because they're going to have to pay an extra $30 to watch WWE. That's one set of people. The other people who have ESPN in their cable bundle are going to sit down and are going to press play to watch the pay-per-view and going to be like, wait, it's not working. I have to download and activate the ESPN app. And then they're going to have to go through this bullshit. They're going to have to go through this. And yes, the consumer gets shafted again because the consumer has to jump through hoops. We have to shell out the money. You realize how much fucking nonsense all of this is. I am so looking forward to see how this is going to go. And let's assume that everything goes well and everyone can log in, which is honestly what I hope, because it's not a question of punishing WWE at this point. Like, consumers should not be fucked like this, you know. Consumers in general should not get fucked like this. They should be able to just like stand up and do something, you know. And they should be able to just stand up or sit down or whatever and download their app, whichever way they want. But let's just say everything goes well and hopefully the stream stays up, because that's a whole other 9 yards. Let's hope everyone has the broadband to make this happen first and foremost, but let's hope that ESPN is, I'm assuming ESPN is comfortable at streaming live entertainment, right? I'm assuming. You know, I'm not as confident when it comes to HBO Max this weekend, between you and I, for All Out. Just saying. Anyway, so clearly ESPN is not making it easy for its subscribers, not making it easy for WWE fans. Best of luck to you. We'll report back next week. We'll see how it all turned out.